Look, you think you know stopping power? You have no idea. Here is the deal. When a 2-ton Cape Buffalo is charging you from 10 yards away, that fancy bolt action of yours is just a liability. You do not need precision when death is breathing down your neck. You need the 2 fastest, most reliable shots on the planet. We are talking about the holy grail of dangerous game ordnance. The only rifles that act as a literal life insurance policy in the bush. Cut the noise and lock it in. Here are the top 5 heavy hitters that stand between you and the grave. At rank 5, we have the Krieghoff Classic Big 5. Look, most people buy double rifles to show off at the lodge. But if you are a pragmatist who values your life over a pretty piece of wood, you grab this German machine. It is not a piece of art. It is a survival tool. Here is why it makes the list. It features a combi cocking device on the top tang. This is not your grandfather's safety catch. When you decock this rifle, the mainsprings are physically relaxed. You can carry this rig fully loaded with 2 rounds in the chambers. Stumble in the thick Jesse, drop the rifle, and it is physically impossible for it to fire. It is the safest system on the market. Period. Now, let's be real about the downside. It has 0 romance. The receiver looks blocky and industrial, lacking the sweeping elegance of a London best. It feels cold and mechanical in the hands, like holding a high-quality wrench rather than a living extension of your arm. But it has a trick up its sleeve. It uses a removable muzzle wedge that allows you to regulate the barrels yourself. If you switch from soft points to solids, you do not need to pay a gunsmith to resolder the barrels. You just dial it in. That is genius. The price for this utility sits between $8,000 and $15,000. It is a solid start. But wait until you see the monster waiting at number 1. Stepping up the game to rank 4, we have the Heym Model 89B. Now, listen closely. If you want a rifle that works harder than you do, without costing the price of a small house, you buy this German tank. It sits right in the sweet spot between a cheap tool and a museum piece. Here is the deal. It uses an Anson and Dealey box lock action. But Heym did not just copy the British, they fortified it. They added a Purdy double underbite and a greener crossbolt. That is a triple lockup system. It is built like a bank vault. I know the purists will scream that a box lock is ugly, but sound off below if you trust a mechanism that never fails over a pretty face. Here is the technical magic. It features hammer-forged Krupp steel barrels. Instead of cutting the rifling, they pound the steel over a hardened mandrel with thousands of pounds of pressure. This work hardens the steel and creates a bore surface that is smoother than glass. It doubles the barrel life. But honestly, it is not perfect. The deal breaker here is the weight distribution. Because of that dense German steel, it can feel a bit front heavy compared to a lively British bird gun. It demands muscle to swing. Also, it lacks the investment potential of a London name. You buy this to shoot, not to resell. The damage to your wallet runs between $16,000 and $25,000. It is a serious piece of kit. Entering the elite tier at rank 3, we have the John Rigby and Company Rising Bite. Now, we are leaving the world of mere tools and entering the realm of mythology. This is the rifle that built the legend of Jim Corbett and Karamojo Bell. If you show up to camp with this, you do not just command respect, you command silence. Here is the deal. For 80 years, this rifle was dead. It was too complex, too expensive, and too hard to build. but they brought it back from the grave, and it is a mechanical marvel. The secret is the rising bite action. Most rifles just lock from the bottom, but Rigby adds a massive steel loop on top of the barrels. When you close the action, a vertical steel bolt rises up from the frame and clamps that loop in a death grip. It creates a tri-point lockdown that is stronger than the bedrock itself. It feels like closing the door on a heavy safe, solid, final, and unbreakable. But let's be real about the problem. It is a museum piece with a price tag starting over $170,000. You're going to be terrified to take it into the thorns. You will worry about scratching the finish every time you step off the truck. It becomes a hostage to its own value. And while the history is incredible, the wait time is agonizing. You might age out of hunting before they even finish building it. This is a legend. But wait until you see the absolute king of the jungle at number 1. Closer to the crown at rank 2, we have the Westley Droplock. Look, reliability is not just about the gun firing when you pull the trigger. It is about what happens when something actually breaks in the middle of nowhere. Here is the deal. Westley Richards looked at the fragile complexity of the London sidelocks and decided to build a tank. They invented the hand-detachable lock in 1897, and it changed the game forever. This system allows you to open a hinged floor plate on the belly of the receiver and physically drop the entire firing mechanism into your palm without a single tool. Think about that for a second. If a mainspring snaps while you are tracking a wounded buffalo in the Zambezi Valley, you do not need a gunsmith. You just swap the lock with a spare from your pocket and you are back in the fight instantly. It is the ultimate survival insurance for the professional hunter. Mechanically, it features a distinct doll's head rib extension. This is a massive steel lump on the top of the barrels that slots into the receiver to stop the action from springing open under the violent pressure of big bore cartridges. It absorbs the shock like a heavy steel gate slamming shut. But honestly, it is not all perfect. That doll's head is ugly. It breaks the clean lines of the gun and looks like a thumb sword to the traditionalists who want a sleek profile. And the price is staggering for a box lock design. The damage to your wallet starts at $85,000. It is a masterpiece of engineering, but it lacks the pure elegance of the winner. And finally, standing alone at the summit, rank 1 is the Holland and Holland Royal. Look, every other rifle on this list is just trying to be this one. This is the undisputed king of the jungle. It is the blueprint that every other sidelock in history has tried to copy. Here is the deal. It is a bespoke bar-action sidelock that takes over 850 hours of hand labor to build. It features a self-opening mechanism that assists the barrels in dropping open the moment you move the lever. That sounds like a luxury, but when a lion is charging and you need to reload in a split second, that spring-assisted opening saves you precious milliseconds that determine if you live or die. The balance is so perfect it feels like a physical extension of your own body. You do not aim this rifle. You just look at the target, and the rifle is already there. But let's be real about the pain. The price is absolutely offensive. The damage to your wallet starts at $125,000 and can easily climb over $150,000. And the wait time is measured in years, not months. You are paying for a legacy that Theodore Roosevelt carried, but you might go bankrupt doing it. To wrap this up, whether you choose the German utility of the Krieghoff or the British royalty of the Holland and Holland, the mission is the same. You are buying a guarantee. When the vegetation is thick and the target can crush you into the dirt, you do not need a bargain. You need a weapon that delivers overwhelming kinetic energy with absolute certainty. Stop trusting your life to cheap gear. Train hard, stay safe, and I will see you downrange.